The Battle of Midway, a decisive turning point in World War II. Imagine for a moment that you are an admiral with the knowledge that an enemy attack is coming, one capable of reshaping an entire theater of war, one that could alter the fate of nations. But you don't know when, where, or how. What do you do with lives and a continent at stake? The Battle of Midway, fought from June 3rd to June 6th, 1942, stands as one of the most pivotal naval engagements of World War II, one that significantly shifted the momentum in favor of the Allied forces. For nearly 6 months after the devastating attack on Pearl Harbor, Japan held a powerful grip over the Pacific, sweeping through territories and establishing bases that challenged American dominance. But Midway, a tiny atoll strategically located between the United States and Japan, would become the stage for a battle that would redefine the Pacific War. This was not a conventional naval battle of hulking battleships clashing in close quarters. Instead, it was a remarkable confrontation fought almost entirely through the air. The stakes? Dominance in the Pacific, the survival of American power, and ultimately the trajectory of the entire war. For Japan, Midway represented more than just another piece of territory. It was a stepping stone to total Pacific control, providing a springboard for an even greater ambition: a siege on Pearl Harbor, and eventually a forced armistice with the United States. As Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto meticulously crafted his plans for Midway, he aimed to lure America's carriers into a trap, confident that his force of over 200 ships and the 4 elite carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, would crush what remained of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. However, unbeknownst to the Japanese High Command, the United States had a crucial advantage. Thanks to Navy cryptanalysts at Station Hypo in Hawaii, the U.S. had broken parts of the Japanese naval code, allowing them to anticipate the attack and turn what was intended to be a devastating trap into a strategic ambush of their own. In the months leading up to the battle, intelligence officers faced a daunting problem. They knew that Japan planned a major offensive in the Pacific, but couldn't yet confirm the location. Using an innovative ruse, they instructed the base at Midway to transmit a fake distress signal about a shortage of fresh water. The Japanese, intercepting the message, soon sent a coded signal that AF was in need of water. This small victory of intelligence, confirming Midway as the target, laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most strategic military operations of the war. Leading up to June 4th, American forces prepared to intercept the Japanese. Admiral Chester Nimitz, commander of the Pacific Fleet, stationed his 3 carriers, the USS Enterprise, USS Hornet, and USS Yorktown, to the northeast of Midway, ready for battle. It was a calculated risk, a battle that would pit American resilience and ingenuity against the elite of Japan's first-line forces. Nimitz's decision to use aircraft rather than engage in traditional ship-to-ship warfare was revolutionary. The role of the aircraft carrier and air superiority began to emerge as new pillars of naval strategy, reshaping the future of warfare in ways that would persist well into the modern era. The American task force itself was an impressive feat of preparation and logistics. The USS Yorktown, severely damaged in the Battle of the Coral Sea, was hastily repaired in a matter of 72 hours, transforming it into a functional but fragile symbol of American tenacity. With their plans set, U.S. forces waited, their pilots fueled with a mix of anxiety, fear, and determination, knowing that Japan's fleet was stronger, but that they had the element of surprise. As dawn broke on June 4th, Japanese aircraft launched the first assault on Midway, inflicting damage on the island's defenses but failing to eliminate its capacity to respond. Confident in their momentum, the Japanese carriers began preparing their planes for a second strike. But this momentary focus on Midway exposed a critical vulnerability. While Japanese planes were refueling and rearming, U.S. dive bombers from the Enterprise and Yorktown caught them unprepared. In a coordinated assault, they scored direct hits on the Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, setting the 3 carriers ablaze and forcing their crews to abandon ship. The lone surviving Japanese carrier, Hiryu, launched 2 counterstrikes that severely damaged the Yorktown, a devastating blow for the U.S. fleet. But the victory would soon tilt decisively in America's favor. Later that afternoon, American scout planes located the Hiryu, and dive bombers from the Enterprise attacked, leaving it burning and incapacitated. This sequence of assaults effectively wiped out Japan's carrier force and dramatically reduced its ability to wage offensive operations. The Battle of Midway was a victory defined as much by intelligence and strategic foresight as by valor and sacrifice. The Japanese lost 4 of their most elite carriers, over 300 aircraft, and more than 3,000 men, marking the end of their unchallenged expansion across the Pacific. For the United States, Midway was a hard-won triumph that came at the cost of 1 carrier, 144 aircraft, and 362 lives. It was a turning point that halted Japan's momentum and placed America on the offensive. This victory was not just a tactical achievement. It symbolized a larger shift in the nature of naval warfare and underscored the crucial role of code-breaking, intelligence, and air power. Midway's impact would resonate throughout the remainder of the Pacific War as the United States embarked on a long, grueling campaign to reclaim islands, one at a time, reversing Japanese gains and eroding their empire. It marked the rise of the United States as a true Pacific power and a global leader, shifting the balance of World War II. As we reflect on Midway, let us consider how this battle encapsulates the transformative power of information, strategy, and resilience. History offers these moments where innovation and courage converge to alter the course of events. What can we learn from Midway about preparation, adaptability, and the courage to act in the face of overwhelming odds? This story of intelligence and bravery invites us to apply these lessons in our own lives, reinforcing the timeless principle that knowledge, strategy, and decisive action are powerful tools in confronting life's greatest challenges.